we're continuing on the modes. As we saw them 2 weeks ago, I started covering the modes. I skipped the Aeolian mode, the C major scale, because everyone knows it. But we saw that we could start, and I'll show you with the top view, we saw that we could start, actually, we could start on the second note of the C major scale, creating the D Dorian mode. We could start on E, from E to E, so the third note of the C scale up to the third note here, so E, Phrygian, and we also saw the F Lydian. So we saw that the half steps that we see in the C major scale are actually in the third and fourth ranked and the seventh and first note of the C major scale. And when we play the Dorian, D Dorian, the half steps are in second and third rank of the scale, of the mode. And here in sixth and seventh. So there's a whole step here between C and D when we play the D Dorian, which makes it like very different from the C scale, from the C, the Aeolian mode, because we changed the role, the rank of the half steps and the whole steps. So this is, you know, what creates the different color of each mode. The E Phrygian, the half steps is happening right away from the start, and that mode is often used with a G sharp in Spanish music. Okay. And we saw the F Lydian. That's more, you know, airy, and it's more like movie-like. Even if we don't play dreamy sounds on the high notes, it's still a mode that sounds a little bit Disney-like or a little bit fairy. So these were the second, third, and fourth mode. I skipped the C major scale, the Aeolian mode, because everyone knows it. And now, today, we're going to see the G Mixolydian. So, if you see the G Mixolydian on this board, you start with G and you finish with G. Again, you have what we call in the C major scale the seventh note, which is B, and the first note, which is C, and they come in the same position as in the C scale, C major scale, in third and fourth rank, the half step I'm talking about. But at the end, you see there's a full whole step here between F and G. So there's actually, in the G Mixolydian, there's a flattened seventh. So instead of, we go, so we kind of have the dominant seventh chord included in there. And this mode is often used in pop music, and it has a bright sound and a little edgy sound. So that's what I was playing when you just came in. So I played like a broken chord, two broken chords in my left hand to accompany this improvisation. In any improvisation or mode in which you want to improvise, always come back to the pole, to the first chord of each. If you're, you know, playing in D Dorian, always come back to that first chord of D minor. And as a pole, you won't have this dominant tonic kind of tension resolution, but you'll have a pole in which you want to tend towards to. Okay? So, same thing if you're playing so I'm going around E Phrygian to come back to that pole. So same thing with the Mixolydian mode. I'm playing with these chords only. Instead of playing them like this, I'm extending the B, I'm playing it as a tenth. I could add up some, other chords also to that G Mixolydian. That's just to show you that we tend to go back to that G chord. And at the same time, this is a little more advanced. So what I showed you 2 weeks ago is that you can always start, and this is the simplest way to start improvising with a mode, is just to play a drone in your left hand or here. Very ad-lib. Or you can play it in a metric. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or in 2 beats of, it would be more appropriate to talk about 2 beats of quarter notes. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And 1, 2. And feel it. Feel it in your body. 1 and then 2 and then 1 and 2 and so you don't need to count always 1, 2. Or you can play your drone on each dotted quarter note if you like. 1, 2. See, that's the easiest way to improvise and explore a mode. And I suggest that every time that you start exploring a mode, that you sing it. Da, da, dee, da, da, dee, da, da. Sing a note. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. F, E, D, C, B, A, G. So you have them in your head and your ear. And when you want to improvise, you hear the notes that you want to play with. And also, I always encourage students to sing at the same time they're playing. So go slow. So that's how you can start improvising on any mode. Use the first and the fifth note of the mode. If you're improvising in D Dorian, use this one. E Phrygian, F Lydian, G Mixolydian. So improvise with the tonic and the fifth, or the first note, and the fifth, and then you improvise calls and the responses in your right hand. See, you make phrases, and that's how you can start to improvise. And later on, you play with rhythms and chords. These are not too hard, but I can tell you that at first students are struggling to do that. So I suggest that you start with the drone only and you sing your improvised right hand, and you make phrases with it, and you'll see that it's going to come out way more easily. And then you have the Aeolian mode, which is the mode starting on A. So A minor natural, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And again, the half steps are not exactly at the same place they were in the C scale, C major scale. So from A to A, from the sixth note to the sixth note. And this mode is more like a sad mode and dark and minor sounding. So you can go something like this. You can start. We're just crafting melodies at first and getting acquainted with the mode. And then and you can also go if you want to add up a little movement in your improvisation. And you can also, at the same time, when you feel more comfortable, you can think of a metric, let's say in 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A small progression, and as you saw, I'm not using the G sharp, so I'm just using this as an A natural minor scale, so we call it the Aeolian mode, and you can easily recognize that mode. It's often played in music, and so it's not a very different mode than the others, were maybe bringing a little eccentric color sometimes to our improvisations. And then you have the Locrian mode, starting from B to B. So you see that the half step is right away at the beginning and a little later here. This mode is unresolved. It has a diminished fifth in it, and it sounds discordant and unresolved. So I had a student of mine, when I told her that she could play with either a full octave or she could play with a drone. But see, it's not so interesting to use the diminished fifth as a drone, so maybe just this one here. And she improvised as if she were improvising on a cymbalum, you know, those Hungarian cymbalum, the Hungarian instrument, kind of percussive instrument, and going really fast between mullets. So see, that can create a very dramatic experience, very also Eastern type of sound, Eastern European sound. So this Locrian mode sounds a little more eccentric and a little more out of reach, unresolved, you know, more difficult for the ear, but at the same time is nice to experiment with. And so I would encourage you to experiment with the modes. Here, my sheet. Experiment with the modes. These are the three last ones that we've been seeing today: the Mixolydian mode on G, the Aeolian mode on A, and the Locrian mode on B, that you can play over a drone. And later on you can find some chords belonging to this mode and start using different chord progressions, but knowing that you won't have this dominant tonic kind of tension resolution. But you use them with the drone first, and then chord progressions, simple ones in different metrics. And you can also use metrics when you're improvising over a drone in your left hand using 3/4, 4/4, and try to feel the pulse in your body in 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I always tell my students to warm up rhythmically, to feel the beats and to feel the metric before starting to improvise over this metric. So we covered 2 weeks ago the D Dorian, the E Phrygian, and the F Lydian. Today was more about the 3 last ones, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. So there would be much more to say about these modes. And of course, in my program, I cover more about these modes, what to do with the left hand and how we can extend and expand on these modes. So if you want to know more, you can always book a call with me, no strings attached, but we can go over your goals and see how I can help you and map out a plan for you. So I'm going to leave the link to book a call with me. And so explore the modes and tell me more how it's going on your end. And if you have more questions, put them in the comments and I'll read you and answer you. So enjoy the modes, everyone, and see you next time. Let's improvise together.